Okay, welcome to the edition 2 of Product Case Study Bootcamp from PCG. These are the guidelines, right? We will solve the entire case study within an hour. The entire bootcamp will be in the form of a question and answer, right? Where the host, that is me, will guide and ask certain questions in each section of the case study. And you are expected to answer these questions to solve the case study. And if you want to answer the question, please, use this feature from Google Meet called raising hands. Okay, here it will be. This is the button. Okay, answers can also be given in chat section, and each participant will be given a maximum of 30 seconds to give their views, so we have to wrap it up within an hour. Okay, and at the end of each section we will allocate 5 to 10 minutes. All right, there will be a Q&A, and I will hand this over to product expert, who is Saurabh Mishra. Okay, he is a product manager at Founded. So thanks a lot for joining the session, Saurabh. We are very excited to have you here, and this session will be like many people will be like asking questions. It won't be like a one-sided discussion. So once again, thanks for joining the session. Okay,
Looking forward.
and
Okay.
so okay, and he will be giving, a product expert will be giving their comments at the end of each section. So this is the flow, guys. Okay, let's just strictly follow it. Okay, let's move on. So the case study topic for this edition is how to increase the user base in Netflix. Right. So the case study flow will be this. First, we'll understand the problem statement, identify the type of users that we want to solve the problem for, identify the pain points and the needs of the user, prioritize the needs, brainstorm the solution, evaluate the solution and constraints, define the success metrics, and then we'll conclude it by summarizing it. This is basically Circles framework. If you guys have read it, so I've tried to follow. So when you say framework, that is basically a logical way of solving it. I'm not exactly use those terms, but this is how you should go about to solve any case study. Okay. So the first step of the case study is understanding the problem statement. Here I have told increase the user base in Netflix. Pretty straightforward, pretty simple, but there is a catch here. If you don't clearly define what this particular question in terms of metrics, it will be very difficult to solve. When we say we have to quantify or deconstruct the question clearly, so here what exactly does increase user base mean? That is the first question. Yeah, Debashrita, yes, please start.
We need to increase the number of accounts and not just the number of viewers, because we have this option in Netflix, right, where multiple people can view Netflix from one account. So we want to increase the number of accounts.
Number of accounts, is it? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, any other
So
answers?
if we increase the number of accounts, then from that we can do a guesstimate of the number of users that will come through based on the different categories of subscriptions that we have in
Okay.
Netflix.
Okay, got it. Any other answers? What exactly does user base mean here? Yes, Sunil. I think Sunil raised his hand and then he stopped it. Any other answer, guys? Okay. So here let's define the okay. Is someone raising the hands? So, yeah, yes, sure, sure.
I think there are 30 odd guys. Like you should all should have a shot. Why are you
Hmm.
not taking a shot? When you say when he has clearly pointed out, Ravi has pointed out, increasing user base on Netflix. Devashrita had an answer on account, which is a bit dubious. But you can ask a very circles first. When he told circles, the first C of circles is clarification question. You can
Exactly.
at least ask a few clarification questions. If at all you all want to be aspiring, you all are aspiring PMs, ask him a clarification question. We both are here. A
Hmm.
lot of us are here. Each of us can help each other. What do you mean by user base? Do you mean free signups, or do you mean paid user acquisition? What do you mean? There can be a free user who on a daily basis they're just piling up, or a free user is getting converted to a paid user, or an existing user who is using a 199 rupees mobile account, he's upgrading it into a 8 900 rupees, maybe the higher version one. If everyone can ask a question, please raise hands. Yes, Ramesh, you can go
Yes.
on.
Yeah, hi, sir. So, as you said, the clarifying questions, the first question for me is targeting the location, like what kind of location are we targeting about? Is it globally user acquisition of Netflix or it just India?
It's global. Plus, it doesn't matter actually for this case study.
Yes.
Okay, okay, got it.
It's okay, but it's okay.
Mm,
You can take it global, or if you, it's open to your interpretation,
mm,
Ramesh. If you want, you have a specific segment. Let
mm,
take it
mm,
and give us a premise for your assumption. If you
mm,
want that Netflix is not penetrating into tier two and tier three regions of India, if you want to take that premise and take that and give us an example regarding
mm,
that, if at all you have something in your mind, just do anything, but raise your hands and ask
mm.
questions. Okay.
And Ramesh, here the we are not, when we say quantifying, we are not going to quantify, right? We are going to
Yeah.
increase it by 2 million active users. That is not the goal. But that is not what I meant by quantifying. Basically, I said deconstruct the question.
Problem. Yes,
Right.
correct.
So put it like I'm going to do that. Like after the question ends, if there are any other questions you guys have, Shubha has written like subscription for or free user. See, it's subscription. Let's come to that, and it can be both as well. Okay, Anuj, yeah, you can ask a question. Yes, Anuj.
Okay, so I'm audible, right?
Yes, yes.
So, is there any specific age group,
Sorry.
any specific age group which you want to have?
See again, that will all will come in the second part. I don't know why people are jumping into it. First, let's define the question. So, okay, time is running up. I'm going to answer. Okay, it will be answered, Anuj. Don't worry. We'll come. There is a second part. See, when we say user base, it could be subscription or it could be free user. For here, we have to increase the number of subscription. To be specific, I'm going to define it as monthly active users of people who have subscription. Okay, so this doesn't include those people who share the password and see. Okay, monthly MAU of subscribed users. Clear? Now this is still at a high level. This still doesn't solve the, it has not deconstructed it. Now when we have told that we have to increase the user base, right? This is the metric that we have to increase. If you have to increase it, you can do two things, right? I'm going to write it down. Either add more users. Let's say now example 100 million monthly active users are present for Netflix, right? The next month I want to add 100 million more, right? So by the end of next month I will have 200 million, ideally, right? That is one way of adding. The next thing that you should ideally do is you have to ensure that the current monthly active users, they renew the subscription as well. So add more users, and you have to ensure that the existing users, the churn should not happen, retention should happen. That is when the overall user base will increase. If you don't take care of the existing users and then you keep on adding more users, the overall monthly active users, it is going to remain the same. So right, so add users, retain users, retain existing users, right? This is how we have deconstructed the problem to achieve the to increase the monthly active users, right? This is the end of section 1. I'll hand it over to Saurabh.
Yes. So that's the exactly. This is how when you say whenever you're looking into any problem of so this is a very popular framework of double A triple R. You in whenever you are using a matrix or anything, it's not a framework. It should always run in the back of your mind as an aspiring PM. Acquisition or adoption, retention, revenue, and
Referral.
last is triple R. R is this
Referral.
referral. So in acquisition, whenever you're talking about acquisition, it is always in two ways. Either you acquire new users, and in the process, you ensure that you do not lose out the existing users, and you retain the existing users and you acquire new users. Because acquiring a new user is always 5 times the cost of retaining the existing user. You should always remember that in the process of doing a lot of marketing spends or doing some SEO or organic acquisition, you should not forget that the existing users are not being loosed out. So those are the 2 points the way we have tracked it. Okay. Hope it is clear with all the
Yeah,
participants.
you guys have any questions, Q&A, we can still have it. Okay, Sonal is asking also, are we looking at a time frame to increase this user base? Yeah, let's take it 6 months. Okay, this
Yes.
again, this would not, this would definitely, have an impact on the type of solution that we will do, because certain
Correct.
solutions will take a lot of time to implement. But let's look at a, longer time frame. 6 months is a pretty good time frame, I would say. Percentage increase, okay, let's call it 50 percentage. Okay, again, this particular question, if you're asking, the case study, the interviewer will start throwing in many numbers at you. What is the person? But it's a good question to ask. Good question
Yes.
to ask. Very good question to ask. Okay, guys, I think that is all right. We'll quickly go to the next section. Let's keep this in mind, guys. These are the two levers, I would say, to increase the
Correct.
MAU, thereby increasing the user base for Netflix. Now, next, the next part of the circles framework is you have to identify the type of users. Okay, there are many types. You can divide the Netflix users. It could be based on type of content, frequency of usage, demographics, and there are many things. Okay, what are the other things are there? I have already listed down you know uh, answers here. Are there any other way in which we can divide the type of user? Basically, when we say persona, right, a type of user, that's it for Netflix. Can we divide it even more? Are there any other types we can do? Age group, okay. Any other things? Okay, either everyone is like absolutely sure about this thing, or no one is listening. Okay, CLV, okay, customer life cycle value. Do you the do you mean that?
Guys, think in a sense of how do you use Netflix?
Hmm.
That is not listed. How, where do you see Netflix?
Hmm.
आप कहाँ कहाँ देखते हैं?
Hmm.
कौन से लैपटॉप में देखते हैं, टीवी में देखते हैं, मोबाइल में देखते हैं? Was that listed over there?
Hmm.
The platform.
Yes, yes, yes. Many very important distinction. In fact, the payment pricing is based on that. There is a
Yes.
separate payment for mobile and all. Okay, web, mobile, great, and then Android. Okay, you're going within the mobile app distinction. That's too much, I would say.
Yes.
You let's just stick at a very high level. Okay, ability to pay. That is like somewhat covered in demographics. In demographics, there are many things, right? Age, income that you get, region, many things are there. Platform, I think, listed out. Genre, great. I think that I have listed on. No, is it? Okay, that again that comes under demographics. Time of content consumption. Okay, that is too. I would say that is too specific.
That is already covered in the Excel in the Google Doc. Like content consumption had it's a degree two of that only type
Hmm.
of content.
Okay.
The frequency of uses
Hmm.
more or less. It's a very fair point, but
Hmm.
it's almost there.
Yeah. I think these are all good, suggestions. So for this particular case study, let's take type of content. Okay, because see, why are we targeting only this particular user persona? Why not do all? Any inputs there? Inputs, guys. Oh, relevancy. That is one. But the main reason why we are doing, right, in real life as well, if you are yes, narrow down the solution, there'll be, you can't have a generic solution that will most probably be applicable for all the user personas, right? There'll be very few features that is applicable for all. But if you have to, you need to prioritize. There are many different types of user personas who have different needs. If you try to club everything into a single thing, put a generic solution, you will not be satisfying anyone. So you will not be able to move the metrics, right? Specifying, that is basically prioritizing the main user that you want to focus, will yield more results. So one of the main goals of a, main roles of a product manager is prioritization. So you have to like figure that out. For here, in a case study interview, these different types should be given by you. Like if you are attending the interview, you have to give the suggestions, and the case study interviewer, he will get to decide, okay, focus on type of content. So here we are going to focus on type of content. Okay, type of content. Okay, when I say type of content, what do I mean, right? We have to, I mean, segregate it actually, right? It could be movie, people come to Netflix to watch movies, right? Or TV series, right? Or children, what is it, movies and children content. And then it could be documentaries, right? These are the basic types I'm telling, right? There are, you can subdivide this into many different types of content within Netflix. There could be animation is there, right? And then there is separate Korean based series, that is a separate genre in itself, right? You can go deep. But again, here within that, this is still at a high level type of content. We can't be solving for all, we need to choose one, right? For this particular case study, I'm going to choose movies. Okay, our target user is this, people who come to Netflix to watch movies. Okay, and even though we are selecting movies, there will be heavy overlap between TV series and other things. So that is fine for this particular case study. That is fine. So we are going to focus on movies. Now over to you, Saurabh.
Yes, I see where you are going. Like, are we specifically looking into like in the retention aspect of it, or we are looking into the acquisition aspect of it
Okay.
when you selected the movies for
That's a
the movie?
very important question. We have to do both. Otherwise, I feel if we look at only one, right, we'll be getting a very narrow kind of a solution. I feel I
Yes.
want to cover, a broad spectrum. Let's do both.
Okay. Let's do both then.
Yes.
Then we'll consider this particular type of movies and think our get into the solutioning part of it. Now that just to clarify people, like when you are in the circles framework, then the point is once you do the clarification question, you identify the segment. Over here, we have we did the clarification question, identified the problem statement, and we have identified the particular category where we want to work on. Then you will have to get into the solutioning aspect of it. That is like CIR. That is a requirement part of it. So more or less, we are getting into that phase. Let's see how are we evolving it. Okay.
Okay. Okay. Great. Guys, if you have any other Q&A, you can ask right now.
Yes.
Do we have any Q&A? I think Debjyoti, she's asking stand up is the biggest cohort. Yeah, we can narrow down that as well separately. Basically, comedy content. And we decide the user group based on certain metrics such as revenue. Um, Saurav, you want to take that up? There is a question in the chat box.
Okay. Yes, that's a very good way of looking into it. Maybe not basis such as revenue, but you'd maybe look into what is that particular user group which has the potential to give you more revenue. For example, there's a user group which is buying the 199 rupees model, which is into that model. Can they be upgraded into the better version basis the value prop which is there? So they can actually be targeted, but we are going from a category perspective. So what Ravi showed you, we actually looked into the way we wanted to do acquisition based on the content, based on the platform, the users which based on the users on which content they are consuming, based on the users on which platform they are into, based on the users frequency of consumption, based on the users demographics, or maybe the based on the user subscription model they are into. So from there on, Ravi told that for this specific case study, we wanted to go ahead with movies as a genre and try to focus our solution into that. So you always have to so this session is more or less done in a way that it prepares you for your upcoming interviews and all. So in an interview, always have to take that red pill or that bitter pill and take a call that I'll focus in this direction. If you try to say that I'll solve for all the problems, then it will eventually come as the picture that goes over there is you're trying to do too many things, and that always happens in a real product manager's life also. You cannot focus on multiple problems because eventually you'll not be able to fix anything. You'll have to take a call on something. Okay, So there has to be definitely a plausible premise behind it. Because when he told movie, he's hit a premise, correct? That movie is a genre
Hmm.
which has the highest number of users,
Hmm.
where Netflix users are consuming it and all those things. So he's considering that, and we're going ahead on those directions.
Yes.
When should I go for circles? Circles is for anything, for a product design question, for a product RCA question. Every product question more or less involves circles only.
Yes. So, guys, so when you say circles, right, don't try to look at it as a separate framework. If you understand these steps, like basically what we are following is circles only. It's basically structure, logical way of solving stuff. That is all, right? There is no other. I would say, I would even say that there is no other method that is like out there to solve case studies efficiently, because this is a logical method. That is all, right? So you should not be like, I should I go or should I not go. No, these are the steps that you should definitely ask. It's better to ask. Okay.
Correct.
Next one, revenue would be a business outcome, right, not a product outcome. Sort of.
It's both, like
Hmm.
product and business will go hand in hand. Like when you say, for example, Netflix tomorrow launches a subscription model, where if you launches a product initiative or referral product, that if you refer 5 people, then you get you already are getting 1 month free subscription on the first month. If you refer 5 people, then you'll get another 30 days subscription. So essentially that next 30 days in a way is becoming is a customer acquisition cost, which in a way could lead to revenue in the future sense. So revenue is an objective of business definitely, but that is fulfilled by the product. It's a purely PLG game over here. It's not like Netflix is into manufacturing, or they have a vehicle or a car that the quality of the car looks takes care of the revenue, or they have a sales and distribution model. It's a pure product led company. Or a lot of companies now, that is what is called a PLG, correct?
Hmm.
There's no separate entity which takes care of revenue per se.
I
Yes.
think
And
Ravikant has
and
a
those businesses who are into that model, where a separate entity is taking care of the revenue, those are only getting out of the businesses.
Hmm.
Believe my word. The way Kodak or someone, those who didn't navigate into a product world and they thought that their sales and distribution model will take care of their product, that never happened, and they completely went out of the market.
Yep. I think there is one more
Yes.
question. Understanding the consumers based on geographic location, curating. Okay, you're jumping. You're coming into the solution mode, Ravi. We'll get there. Don't worry. Okay.
Yes.
Okay. We'll move to the next part. You've identified this particular user segment, right? The next, in this is the. I would suggest this is where you should focus the most. You should spend most time here in identifying the pain points and needs of the user. Here we have selected movie uh, watchers in Netflix, right? This is the target user. Now, a person who watches movies in Netflix, you have to consider two things. Either he watches in Netflix. Okay, we should not actually consider it because there are two levers, right? New users, existing users. Existing users will be watching the movie Netflix. You have to think about the pain points of them, and then new users who have not watched, who have not watched movies in Netflix, but they might have watched movies somewhere else. Either it could be in OTT or YouTube or even movies. What are all the pain points for them? For them, so you have to explore both the angles here. Okay, let's start. Let's start. Like, what are all the pain points? This is a very very critical part of the case study, and there is a framework you can follow. Relevant recommendation. Okay, you mean to say that recommendation is not relevant, irrelevant recommendation is that is the pain point. Yes. Okay, I'm writing it down. Any other pain point, guys? Product pricing. Okay. Streaming issues. You mean to say that quality of streaming, is it? I'll put it as quality of streaming. Okay, and then product pricing. They're saying product pricing, you're saying Pricing is expensive. Okay. Latest content is not there. Again, it's okay. Irrelevant is different. Okay. Latest content, latest movie content is not available. Okay. Easy app usage for tech laggards. Okay. You're saying the app is not very easy to use. That is why that is a pain point, is it, for existing users? Okay. Navigation both are same. Navigation not able. Okay. Sunil is like, I think, not able to decide. Too much options. Too many options. Not able to decide what to watch. Very important pain point actually. And then content diversification. Okay, I think we have covered that right somewhere. Irrelevant recommendation, that basically takes care of that. Okay, that is search, it will come. Not enough content. You're saying, okay, actually they both will be like opposite to each other. Too many options and not enough options. I'll put both. Missing, I think that's we have covered. Availability we have covered. Lack of content, availability we have covered. Too much time spent on searching and navigation. Okay, that is, how do I put that? That basically would tell actually not able to decide what to watch. Right. Too much time spent. Data usage is intensive. Not sure what you mean there, Depjyoti. Start from where I left last. Personal. You're saying personalization is not there. Okay. Sorry. Okay. I think we are getting many points here. In YouTube or different OTT, there is ad between the movies. If you download the movie, you will search a lot. Okay, Anas, what exactly do you mean here? Can you explain if you want to? There is ad between. Yeah, sure, sure. Yeah, sure.
Actually, if we use a different type of OTT like Sony Live and YouTube, so in in the movie there is ads between, right?
Okay.
So uh, and there is free of cost like YouTube. We know as we know YouTube is free, and there is so many OTT platform we can use free. But there are not lots of movies. Or if you download the movie from the Google, so we have to search a lot, right?
Okay.
So our in and we use the Netflix. So basically, we can find movies according to my interest, or there is an algorithm like search in the
But
algorithm.
that is not a pain point, right? You're basically
So
saying it's good.
I'm just telling the pain point here. Like uh, I can find movies according to my need. So there is a pain point. Like I'm not able to find
Okay.
a movie according to my need. According to my needs. So that's the first pain point. Second pain point is the ads. Like if we use different type of platform, there is ad uh, in
Okay.
between. So I got distracted due to the ad. Right?
Okay. So Netflix doesn't have that. Netflix doesn't
Yeah.
have any ads, as far as I know. I think they're trying
Yeah.
out few ad-based models in some countries. I don't think it's present in India. Okay, let's
Yeah.
skip the second one. But you're saying not enough. Basically, you're telling not enough options to my taste, right? Got it. User-based behavior, content marketing. Not sure what you mean, Ravi. There. Dubbing of certain content not available. Basically, options. Type of options is not available. The content ratings. I think you're saying content rating is not there. That's a pain point, is it? Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Okay, suggestions based on okay, personalization we already covered. User interface, I think user interface is somewhere added, right? Quality of streaming option. I'll put that as a separate thing. User interface is confusing, not easy. Internet consumption. It's not internet friendly. Okay, but not internet friendly. Okay, that's personalization, Sonal. Netflix uses more data than any other, I believe. Okay, that is language display. Does family plans have watch feature? Let's not go into the features right now, Anuj. Okay, let's go one by. Let's focus on the.
Uh,
If you say that as a pain point, I'm not able to
yeah,
watch.
yeah.
So because of that, you're not even going to Netflix, is it? Do you mean to say that?
Like if we have a family plan, we prefer to watch movies with our family. So if that can be a pain point.
Okay, okay, okay. This is like I feel this pain point is too specific.
Yeah,
Okay,
like it's for like too narrow.
okay. I'll put there. Watch together feature. Okay. No flexi plans. Okay. As I don't need to watch everything. Okay. Guys, great input. Before I hand it over to Saurabh, I have some inputs to you guys. See, whenever they're asking for pain points, right? You can follow a framework called double A triple R. Saurabh explained, right? Acquisition, adoption, retention, revenue, referral. That is basically customer journey inside the app. All right, and you have to think from a customer. First thing, what would he do? He will install the app, then he will register. Basically acquisition and acquisition and adoption part is you have to go there and then either pay the money in terms of Netflix, an activated user, right? And that is the next acquisition, adoption, and then retention. You come back and renew your subscription. Okay, retention will come, and then revenue will come, and then you give your recommendation of Netflix app to others, you refer it. So this is the flow. So I have clearly defined that there are two things, right? New users and existing users. This flow will be present only for existing users. So with respect to that flow, from the moment I log in, the moment I search, the moment I watch, the next is I will watch the content, and then I will get out. So using this entire flow, you have to look at the pain points in each of the flow. People start when you guys gave the suggestion. You guys started throwing suggestions. What is it? In one go, you did not follow a process or a flow. That one input I would say. Right, we have to do for the existing users. For the new users, again, you have to start. Okay, if I have to go to watch a movie, right, where would I go? Who are the competitors of Netflix, first of all? Because if they are not users of Netflix, they are watching movies somewhere, right? It's either in YouTube or other OTTs or even cinemas. So what are the issues that they have there, or what are the issues that is preventing from using Netflix? Right, you can explore the entire flow of them. Let's say you can take a cinema goer, right? The entire flow is different. If I want to go watch a movie, I have to like look whether ticket is available or not, and then I have to know in which theater it is available. Then I have to plan it. The entire flow is different. So there are many ways you guys could have taken, but most of the inputs that I got was for existing users. Very few input for the new user, especially in the pricing point you guys told, right? It's very expensive and all, so I'm using. So these
Correct.
two things, levers, you guys should have used along with the customer flow. That is my input. Right now, over to you. Sorry.
No, you were bang on. There were inputs coming in, but even I was thinking that the inputs weren't structured. For example, if at all is a new user, what is their pain points as of now? For example, think from a sense on any sense, like what are the problems for you or our parents for that matter. You just think of your parents, you like, and you show Netflix. Just open your Netflix account in your home TV, and you show the movies to your parents, and you see that they are completely like, what do you say, they cannot believe that such a thing and such an experience can be there. So think from their perspective, like that will be the best way to do that. What are the new users problems are there? Maybe pricing was one of the points which was pointed out, that and maybe the planning involved, which even pointed out was by Ravi, that you have to discover that which theater has which movie and whatnot, at what shows and all, how do you travel to that place, and all those things you have to take care of it, the food and everything. as a new user if you want to watch a movie. Okay, but for an existing user, you have to look into compare into the other OTTs as well as the other cable channels, or what do you call the G cinemas and the star movies of the world, and what are the problems over there, and maybe point out the existing users. You have given the entire
mm,
universe of problems. What I felt.
mm,
There are ads and there are ads the problems we have all listed it down in the Google Doc. But for new users the problem were pretty less, but now more or less I think you people have got the problem statement, got the way that you should think in your interview, that if at all you have identified in CI, in the back of your mind you should always run it down when you're answering. If at all you have done an I identification of a persona along with the category, if you have done that, you have to think what all are the problems. Always when I told that we are driving towards the R section of the circles, requirements will always come to the R only if you have identified the problems of the identified persona. Okay, CIR, clarification question, identifying the persona. R is requirements, will only come to R only if the problems are identified. Now that you have identified the problems, you can come up with some methodology of plugging in solutions to those problems. Okay,
mm,
so let's go ahead. Now that we have the new user ka problem set and the existing user ka problem set, let's move to the next slide, and
mm.
let's look into the solutioning aspect of it, how we can do something on that.
Sure. Thanks, Saurabh. There is a question. Can you suggest
Yes,
some new user pain points in addition to the new pricing plan?
pricing plan.
Pricing
So
pain, the written. Yeah, it's basically pricing. Apart from that, are there any other pain points?
it itself is a very big pain point. For example, for the existing user, if you want to watch a movie, it's a very the pricing is a very big pain point,
Mm,
correct? Like you have to pay for four people or two people going together. You have to arrange for food and everything. It's a very big pain point.
mm,
So what else can you suggest? Some new user pain points in addition to pricing. Okay. He's suggesting that for a new user, what else can be
mm,
the other points? Okay, I get it. So it can be the discovery part of it. Always for a new user, it's a user acquisition ka sabse best channel. What all the published gurus or product gurus suggest is discovery. So how do you know that if you have a movie in your mind, in which platform it is available, if at all the SEO and all these things are not working well? Product discovery or a movie category discovery on Netflix, that in itself is a problem. हाउ डू यू नो दैट? आप तो नए यूजर है, आप
mm,
नेटफ्लिक्स में गए भी नहीं है, आप सर्च करके रिकमेंडेशन काम करना तो अलग दूसरी बात है, वो दैट इज आउट ऑफ द विंडो. हाउ डू यू कम टू नो दैट इफ यू वांट टू वॉच अ मूवी, दैट मूवी इज अवेलेबल ऑन नेटफ्लिक्स और नॉट? That is where
mm,
SEO and organic acquisition channels work, and Netflix advertisement and all those things work. So that is the second problem, category product discovery or category discovery of it. So that is another new user pain point, you can say. There is not a book my show or some platform where you come to know that which listing is there on which platform, correct? There is nothing like that. So
okay.
that is another thing.
Mm.
What else?
So,
Anything else, Ravi?
see, when we say new users, right? Again, that's a very broad term, because new users could go watch movie in many places, right? There
Correct,
are people can download from torrents. I think one of them already told I need to search that torrent particularly and then download it. That is a pain point, right?
correct.
So you should not mix both new and existing users. So with respect to those users, what are all the pain points? List them down. First, discovery of that movie in torrent is a pain point for them, right? Next is you have to find a torrent which has a lot of seeds. You guys understand the seeds and peers concept, right? In torrent, it's actually peer to peer we have downloading. So there should be enough seeds available for you to download that content. Otherwise you won't be able to download that content, right? There are many things there. So pain point here should be with respect to them, and then you try to figure out whether can I solve that problem through Netflix, right? So that they come to my platform. That is how you
Correct.
should think. Clear? So it could be many. To answer your question, I just gave you an example where, well, let's not diverge, I would say, because there are many things to be done. Okay, I'm searching my screen, sorry, sharing my screen now. See, now you guys have given most of the things are within existing users. Let's try to bucket them, right? Let's try to bucket them because there are many overlaps, right? First thing is what? Pricing, right? Many people said pricing is an issue. Overpricing, I would say, overpriced. That is the issue, right? Next one is lack of option, they're saying. right? Third one is too many options. So in too many options, you will say it covers many things. I'm not able to find what I'm looking for. There are so many things to decide, right? And then personalization, I would say. Um, Again, and the next one, I think irrelevant recommendation. Recommendation is not relevant. I have just bucketed them into only these five because there are many things you guys have written. I don't think we have time to go through all of the pain points, right? So these are the pain points that we have bucketed, major things, right? Now let's try to brainstorm. Okay, what can we do to solve these pain points for movie watchers? Okay, that is the next step. Okay, here we have actually prioritized as well. Before, okay, I've just directly went ahead and prioritized, but let's do a prioritization as well. Just a sec. If there are, these are the five things that we need to work, right? How would you guys prioritize it? Guys, up to you. How would you guys prioritize how to solve this problem? How impacted users? Okay, are there any other way? Okay, rise. Okay, I'll come there. Any other ways? Okay, I don't think there is any other inputs coming in. See, $10 test. What exactly, Shagun? Can you explain what exactly is $10 test? Sorry, $100 test. If you can unmute and explain, that'll be great. Yeah.
Even I heard it for the first
Yeah.
time.
I mean, it could be a $1 test or a $100 test. So you could ask, make an internal discussion in what pain points you would want to pay highest amount of dollar for which pain point, and then you can prioritize depending upon the points that pain points that has been allotted with the highest dollar points. So basically, impact, right? Whichever
Right.
feature has a okay. Okay, Shubha Shetty, I think he has again given Kano model again that is based on customer satisfaction and other stuff. More option based on users. Okay. 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 Thanks for the suggestion, guys. See, there are many frameworks that you can follow. We have Rise and but I think the simplest thing that you can do, even it is like the whatever thing that I'm going to say, it's a gist of Rise model only. So Rise is what reach into impact into confidence divided by the denominator is effort, right? So it's basically output with respect to input. Whichever feature will give you the maximum output with respect to the minimum input, that is something you should prioritize first, right? I think Kano model looks at it from a satisfaction angle. Okay, if any of the experts here want to explain about Kano model, please feel free. I think sort of do you want to take that apart? They have
No,
written.
I think I'm very much aligned with you.
Hmm.
This impact versus effort or output versus input,
Hmm.
because we recently have a CPT also, he follows the same model. Look
Hmm.
into the output matrix and what that is the
Exactly.
end game. Output is something we are very clear. We decided in the very first, some few people only set the
Hmm.
premise, correct?
Hmm.
That we thought what is that present user acquired number,
Hmm.
and what is the target we want to achieve, in what duration we want to achieve. We
Hmm.
have the timeline of 6 months and we want to have a 50% increase in the user base, and then the output we have to judge it basis the output divided by the input. That is the best way to look
Hmm.
into it. There are different models, and more or less they will get
Hmm.
into the same thing only. If you
Exactly.
look into that, you fall into the same bucket only. They have a different nomenclature here and there. Okay, I think that we can.
Devashita's, yeah, sure. I'm sharing screen. Okay, and Debashrita has written further need to divide the bucket into new and existing users and understand the cost. Of course, but
Correct.
due to lack of time, if we go there, I think we'll be left with only two people at the end. Okay, I just want to cover them quickly. So these are the things, right? Which one will have the maximum impact with respect to minimum input? What do you guys think? I'm
Any
sharing.
point of views over here, and now we are getting to the solutioning aspect, guys.
Yeah.
So mark my word, in any interview, People will value how do you come identify your problems. In the solutioning, you can be as much fancy as possible. You can plug in whatever you want to do. People will be very much focused on how did you come to identify the problem, and what pedagogy you had over there. That is the most important aspect of it.
So guys, come on. One personalization is one. Okay. Overpriced can be, you're saying pricing is a main which will have the maximum output with respect to minimum input. Okay. I mean, I'll come there. I'll explain. Most of you guys are saying that pricing personalization is something others are saying. You can easily personalize. Lack of content is there. Okay. 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 I'll explain one by one. Guys, changing the pricing is, well, definitely, maybe, right? If that is, if through research, if we find, let's take our example, right? Many people said pricing, so there is a good chance that if you reduce the price, people will anyhow start joining. But at the same time, you have to think of it as a business as well. You have certain costs that you need to pay off, right? To produce a movie, it takes a lot of money. You need to ensure that that is taken care as well. You can't run your business in loss, right? And Netflix, if they're charging, maybe it is due to they are producing many content, right? And at the same time, they don't want to lose a lot of money, right? That is why they have a, premium. Plus there are actually the diversity of content is very high. That is the main reason for, that premium amount that you pay. So yes, it might have high impact with low input. But if you go into this direction in this case study, you need to start crunching numbers. How would you reduce the price? You have to go into the guesstimate and all those things. That even though product managers do that to an extent, let's not go into that in this case study, because let's just focus on product driven decisions. Okay, not entirely
Right,
product.
and also I'll also strongly suggest whenever you're in a product case interview going forward in the future also, always try to avoid the win the product via acquisition, like win the acquisition race via reducing the price. That is the easiest thing to do.
Hmm.
You give a free bait, a lot of people get acquired, but then as soon as the bait is over, people simply avoid your platform again. Okay,
Hmm.
so and also when you say pricing, that is a point which someone raised in between, correct? That is more like a business call. For
Yes.
example, if I launch a product and I reduce the, for example, you are in matrimony.com, there they have a competitor of Jivan Sathi and maybe Sadi.com. A premium subscription might be for a 3 months is somewhere around 15,000 rupees. SKU is there. And if you say that we want to have more premium subscribed users, then the first solution anyone in the room can fly it is उसको 10,000 रुपए कर दो.
Hmm.
तो भाई, if at all you have the same set of combination of group, because more or less these platforms, the biggest problem they suffer is the same set of girls and boys are there on each of the platforms. If you
Hmm.
do that, that's the easiest thing to do, but that won't add to the annual revenue or something, because the objective of acquiring more users so that you have a higher revenue, that will not be solved. So that is the should be the last option. And lot of, as Ravi pointed out, this has to have a proper number crunching exercise, so that it should happen that tomorrow the users acquired with the lower price should again have a tangible
Hmm.
EBITDA addition to your company. That should happen. You have to prove that hypothesis, and then only you can reduce the price. Okay, if that is not there, it's very difficult to convince anyone at the leadership level that price come kar do. Okay.
Exactly. So, okay, in the next one, thanks for the input, Saurabh. A lack of options. I think only one person they mentioned. If let's say, I'm not sure whether Netflix, has lack of options, but if that is indeed true, right? Like I mentioned, output with respect to input, you have to judge, right? To increase the number of options, right? Yes, definitely output will be there, but the input, the cost will be very very high. It's not very easy to produce a movie. Even if they have the money, right, it will take months to push out movies for people to watch, right? It is a longer duration, heavy impact, sorry, heavy investment, option. This lack of options, I would say. So this will, in terms of rice metric, this will have a very low output to input ratio. Okay. Output will be there, but input will also be increase, will also be very high. So the ratio of it, if you look at it, will be very very low. So this we should not take actually. Too many options, yes. Too many options. Input is, this is a purely a product driven things that you can do. You don't have to produce any content. It is this if you have to solve this pain point, product team can take the call, right? So high output with low input, I would say. Okay. So this is something we should definitely prioritize. Personalization, again, we can prioritize. It's purely within, again, it would depend on the type of feature that we implement as well, right? That would also decide the input. But if you look at it relatively, all these things look very attractive, right? High output with very less input. Recommendation is again not relevant. Again, it's a very, product driven thing that we can do. Right now, first two things is like out of our option for discussing. We cannot discuss it right now for these reasons. For the next three, let's try to come up with, within these three also you can prioritize one, two, three, but let's not go there due to lack of time. Let's try to brainstorm solutions. Okay, this is the prioritized ones. Let's try, the next step would be to brainstorm. These are the 3 points you have to solve for. Now let's go. This is the interesting part that like many people are waiting for, right? How would you solve too many options? What are the solutions? Shubha is saying if we take care of 4 and 5, that's basically, I'll share my screen again. You're saying I don't. Jyoti is saying too many options is a pain point in the first place. Just my thought. Many people are saying, right. Many people are saying let's just consider. We don't have data to back it up. All right. Okay. So these three things is a clear, right? Shubha, you can unmute and then talk. Yeah.
Yeah, basically, what I meant is if we take the personalization based on my history, basically an AI ML tool which will see my history and say, for example, if I'm a lover of comics, then it would only recommend the comics. So it will take care of personalization, will take care of 1 and 3. So if you solve for 2, it will take care of 1 and 3 both.
Okay. This is already present in Netflix. Why do we still have the use? Do you think they don't use AI or ML to do this?
They must be using it.
Definitely, they are using it for sure. But why? What else we can do? I'll list it down. It's a valid suggestion. Maybe we are not doing it properly. Models to recommend, personalize, and recommend. Right? Any other solutions?
Fair one from Devishita.
Yeah,
Pretty fair one.
you understand the requirements first, the changing taste of the customer. Yeah, we can do that. So basically, you want to have put a feedback form, is it?
Correct. The feedback form should go back and hit the personalization loop of it that you're not doing great. For
Hmm.
example, someone like in someone a platform which has a very high engagement, for example a Instagram or a Instagram reel or maybe a YouTube shorts, something on those lines. They actually take care of the users frequent the content consumption ratio. For example, it's a 15 seconds video. How long did you consume it, or how fast did you scroll up, or how many likes you did? Basis that they create a feedback loop and they start showing you video on those basis. Whereas this is something I feel Netflix could do better. For example, if at all they have something erroneous in their algorithm or something which comes up and you start consuming it but you don't like it, but I don't know if that is being consumed in their in their algorithm or not. If at all it is there, it's not on the UI as a feedback form or something like that, but if at all it is there, I somehow feel that my account is a bit screwed up because I sometimes feel I get in content which I don't want at all.
Yes.
Uh,
See, one more thing. Netflix, when you log in for the first time, at that time they will ask you what type of contents, languages do you like. That is the only thing that comes as a full page feedback form. Rest of the things, after you watch a movie, there is a small feedback. Is it a thumbs up or a thumbs down?
Correct.
Did you like them? That like small nudges they are doing, but still there are
Hmm.
many. Most of the thing is driven by what movies you watch, right?
Correct.
Maybe I'm a user, like I would like to explore many things, but I don't want, when I explore, that should be my call. I don't want that to come on whatever I see, right? I don't want that to come on the first page, right? So
So
maybe
you see,
explicitly.
over here it's a very interesting problem also. You see, if at all you're in a reel, it's a 15-second reel, or any sort of you're a, see, I can just compare it with a reel or something. I'm in a jobs world, okay, or you are in a matchmaking world. If a boy is checking a girl's profile, he has certain requirements, or a girl is checking a boy's profile, he has certain requirements in his mind, maybe the education, maybe the salary, or maybe the location. If it doesn't match, you immediately go to the next one. And the same happens with the reel. If I see a gory reel, like a very gory or a very sort of graphic images there, or something which I don't like, I simply go to the next. But in a movie, the amount of investment you have already done, by the time you realize कि भाई ये मेरे को I am not liking it, in the time where by the time you realize it, you will in a position that you will अभी खत्म करना है. I
uh,
come back around 10 o'clock in the night, and I have my dinner, and when I start watching a movie, it's around 12:30, or after 1 hour has passed. By then I realize कि bro, this is not a type of movie I would want to watch. But the amount of time I've invested in it, I'll continue watching it for another 45 minutes. So
exactly.
how does Netflix take that into account?
Exactly.
Because one angle of Netflix is saying that okay, Saurav, his account did invest 1 hour 45 minutes in one go, which is a signal towards their algorithm engine that he has completely consumed the content. That means he's liking the video. But on the other hand, I just have button, which is again a signal to their algorithm that no, I didn't like it,
Hmm.
and that again and the adoption of that of that button is again questionable, because a lot of times we don't do a thumbs up or a
Hmm.
thumbs down for the
Exactly.
content we have watched. So the
Hmm.
algorithm gets screwed up over there.
Exactly.
Somehow I feel, but
Hmm.
how do we improve that? I don't know. Let's
Uh,
see if someone comes up with some ideas.
Making feedback form more explicit, right? Time
More,
to time.
more explicit.
Time to
The
time.
very hence I felt this point is very relevant. What Devashita pointed out, it
Hmm.
has to be more a thumbs up or a thumbs down. There are three. I think there are three elements exposed in the UX. I liked it extremely. Two thumbs up, a single thumbs up, and a
Hmm.
thumbs down. It
Hmm.
has to be more explicit. Something on
Exactly.
the UI
Hmm.
which captures the user intent. Because
Exactly.
I've been in this situation multiple times. I don't know how do I come out of it. Go ahead. Go
Okay.
ahead.
Okay. Shall we move to the next one? That is personalization is done. I don't think you can club it. Like recommendation. Okay. Recommendation 2 and 3. Maybe there is a lot of overlap. One, you can't club it. Okay. Let's go to the first part, because that is where the too many options. Okay. How do we counter this? Too many options. Please don't say existing solution, guys. I know people would have like heavy users of Netflix. Don't say existing. You can say it if you want to improve it on top of it. Too many options. This is actually the core problem of Netflix. Password sharing is there, and then there is too many options. Come on, come on. Adding new layers of filters. What exactly do you mean, that Jyoti? You can unmute and explain. Okay, there is some problem there. Okay, I'll give a hint. Okay, before you watch a movie, all right, even in Netflix, I'm telling, what is the process that you will follow? Not after you decide to watch the movie. Before you watch, what should I watch? That is a question you should answer. Think from it. Exactly. Reviews. Reviews. IMDb rating. Yeah, bang on, bang on, bang on. Asking friends. Yeah, next, next. Come on. You guys are on the right track. Trailer. Watch movie trailer. Yeah, exactly. You're on mute, sort of. You're saying something.
No, no, I was just talking to you.
Yeah.
Carry on.
Okay, great. Okay, that is the first part. Now, does Netflix solve this problem? Do they provide any hint? See, if I have to watch a movie, first thing that I would do is I will go to YouTube. Okay, I will watch the review. All right, and then I will go to IMDb as well. IMDb sometimes is like messed up since it is owned by Amazon. They will intentionally reduce the rating of every possible Netflix movies. Okay, it'll be a good movie, but it'll be rated very low. Okay, that is in a general observation. It's an anecdotal observation. I don't have any data to back it up. Right. So IMDb I see, and then I go to YouTube, and then I decide. Okay, I have to watch this movie. Right. So inside Netflix, where is the review section? Have you guys seen that? No, right. So reviews, providing reviews could be one thing. Then now the next, right? What type of reviews? Yeah, trailer though they give definitely. Trailer is a very relevant thing, but you guys know how trailer, right? They will put every possible good thing about a movie in that trailer, and then that's it. Most watched option that is within the Netflix. That is a biased opinion. Don't you guys think? Like Saurabh mentioned, okay, if something comes up in the first screen of the Netflix, okay, most watched movie. Out of curiosity, I will start watching the movie. The view count will increase. That in turn will drive the recommendation. Okay, it will think that okay, many people are actually seeing this movie, so it's a popular movie. That is not how like many people, like some people will actually drop off in the middle, right? Some people, okay, I've started the movie, let me complete it and then go. It's a very screwed up metric, I would say, right? And these are all the main reasons, and plus there is no trust. Actually, most watched is fine, but we don't know whether that movie is good or not. Exactly, there is one more thing, but there are many, I think Hotstar provides, I guess Hotstar or Amazon provides IMDb rating for few content, not for all.
No, over here, I feel, guys, there's a thing which Mintra does, and this is a pretty common concept in product marketing also, called customer lookalike segment. For example, a Netflix has to create a persona in their recommendation engine, where if a Saurav is watching movies, then how many Sauravs are there in the ecosystem of Netflix in that geography? They will have to curate those cohort, that is called user cohorting. They have to cohort those users, and basis that specific cohort, you have to drive the recommendations and the personalization. Because now, if the thing which Ravi pointed out, if the most watched movie comes up, it might happen that this is something which is likable to a specific genre, but I might not like it, and things go haywire from there on. The most like matrix just goes up, but it is not at all likable to me. But if my cohort is identified and the cohort is liking it, then definitely that is something I'll have a bigger thought on that.
Mm.
This is very much relevant in the IMDb context also. Reviews again needs to have a cohort centricity, because something which has a good review by someone might not necessarily be a good one for me. That is where IMDb ratings might look a bit skewed or something. Okay, the Amazon angle is there. I wasn't also aware, but whatever ratings are there on IMDb, that is not done by any general person. Cannot go and give a rating on IMDb. You have to be of a specific
Mm.
level of a reviewer to be even accepted by IMDb as a review expert. Something on those lines, we are taking it. Yes, Ravi, you can carry on.
Sure. I think that we are getting some good suggestions. First one would be like if my friends have recommended, right? That is a very good.
Yes,
I
correct.
think sort
Excellent.
of, he came from a cohort kind of an angle. And if my own
Correct.
close friends recommend it, say, right, I'll write this now. Recommendation from close friends.
Some platforms are actually going in these directions. For example, Watch Party and all the Disneys or Hotstars of the world, they're creating it. That is somewhat driving acquisition as well as going in that direction also. But it's a very very fair point, Subha. Providing completion rate of a movie, exactly, even some platforms are going in that direction.
Okay.
I recently I was seeing some OTT where it is told, there's this series Asur 2, I don't remember the platform it came, but that OTT on the movies, it was showing the amount of minutes a particular series or a particular movie has been watched by the consumer, by the users. So that invariably, if the next level of it is that what you're trying to point out, Anuj, what
Hmm.
is the completion rate of a movie? That is something definitely
That's
one
a.
can
Hmm.
look into for generalization.
Very good
Yes.
input, Anuj. Very good input, actually.
Yes.
I think we have enough inputs, right? We're running out of
Yes.
time as well. Too many options we covered.
Yes.
Personalization slash recommendation we went.
And always remember, solutions you can be as fancy as possible. And you see the
Hmm.
solutions are really good. This completion rate was a really good thing. You can actually check it out where Asur 2 is there. This is there implemented. You might
Hmm.
see your feature going live in some platform really soon. And then Subha, what you pointed out is again a very good thing.
Hmm.
And Debashita pointed out regarding this reviews as again a very fair point.
Hmm.
Uh, and the community based in-house review and thing which we all
Hmm.
discussed, that is again something really good. You can jot down Ravi in your
Yes,
notes.
yes,
We can
done, done.
then take it up to the next level.
What we'll do, right? I'll screen share my screen. We'll actually, that's a very, we have gotten good amount of inputs, but we can explore more as well if we have more time. What I'm going to do, I'm going to stop here and then go to the next section, right? Because this section is very critical, right? You can give as your a solution can be very fancy, but you should be a good critic of that solution. During the interview you should give the pros and cons. You have to evaluate your solution properly before taking a call. Okay, so let's whatever solution we have written, right? First of all, pros. Based on user behavior we can use AI models to personalize and recommend stuff. Fine. Pros would, what are the pros and cons, guys, for this one, this solution? Come on, think from every angle: implementation cost, duration of implementation, whether it will have an impact. Think from many angles. It's already being done. User profile should be allowed to connect with each other like on LinkedIn. If my connection is already in texture, I should be. Yeah, notification, that also will write it down. um,
No, C is pointing out towards a community angle. This if at all, user profile should be allowed to connect this. If at all, there's a cost thing. The earlier point which Ravi pointed out. This will require an entirely new product team and a development
hmm,
team to build a community angle on Netflix.
okay.
Yes.
No, okay, it was not a solution, is it? Okay, fine.
Uh,
Okay, guys, let's focus
absolutely.
on this. Yeah, we are almost running out of time.
Hmm.
For this
Yes.
personalization, we are suggesting AI model. It's already being done. AI model to personalize and recommend. What are the pros and cons? Cons could be it will take time to implement. It's not easy.
Correct.
Let's say I'm doing it for the first time. I need enough amount of data, structured data, proper data to take a call. Time to implement. That is a con, right? We have defined that we have to increase the MAU within 6 months. Will, I'm not sure whether we'll be able to do that within that time. Right. So Netflix being a team, data will be present with them, right? External dependency is less. So implementation is, I won't say it's very easy, but there is no dependency, and the requirements will be like very clear here. So
Yes.
implementation,
This will be a long-term play.
yeah, implementation, how exactly to put this one? Dependency, I would say implementation dependency on dependency is less, I would say. Okay, are there any other pros that you guys can think of? And this is a scalable solution. Okay, once you
Correct.
have an algo, that's it. It can work on its own. It can improve the algo based on the data, and then it's a very scalable
Correct.
solution, long term solution.
Highly scalable solution. If you think from a simple user perspective, this is quick anecdote. Like as a new user on Netflix, if you look into the life cycle of a user on a Netflix, if at all I just consider myself, I've been an active Netflix user for like 1.5 year, 2 years. The amount of new movies or absolutely new movies which I wanted to watch on theater and I didn't watch it, I watch it on Netflix is very low. But rather, it's all movies from a Russian movie, maybe a Spanish movie, or maybe a English movie, or maybe a South movie. I watch it. So if at all you look into the life cycle of a new user getting into a mature user, they consume lot of other content. So if you have a solid recommendation engine like this, a personalization and recommendation engine built on this, so that you can actually track the life cycle of the user and start doing recommendation and personalization. If at all my customer lookalike segment is identified, if something a Saurabh Mishra like person, what did he watch in the third month? If that is something the system knows, then maybe they'll start showing you of consumption, and things will really be absolutely wonderful. Go ahead, Ravi.
I
Go
think
ahead
there is
about
a
it.
con there. Means yes, cost could be high. Again, it see maybe the initial investment will be high, but data though they're anyhow storing it, right? For scaling up, it might not be a big cost, right? So I'm not writing this down. And if they don't have any data decision scientist team, AI, ML experts, when they need to hire someone new, yes, of course, initial cost will be very very high, right? Let's assume,
Yes.
let's put that, and it will take time to initial cost.
It's a very strong experimental model. It's not like overnight someone writes an algorithm and
Hmm.
next day you will deploy it. You have
Yes.
to test it. You have to iteratively test it that things are working fine or not.
Yeah.
Good.
Guys, due to lack of time, we'll do one more pros and cons. Okay. Let's take this one. Many people said feedback form is not very explicit. Pros, what is it? Right? You can get direct input from direct input from user, give relevant recommendation. Right? There is no bias. Like he wants this, we are going to show. Directly solving the problem. Great. But what are the cons? This can act as an impediment, right? Suddenly I'm watching a movie, okay.
Healing.
I have finished like the first episode of a TV series. Okay, even though we are discussing about movies, I'm giving an example from TV series. First episode I watched, I want to watch the second episode. Suddenly there is a feedback form coming up. Hey, did you like the first episode? Did you like this content? Did you like That's actually it's an irritating factor for the user,
Correct.
right? So cons could be it can act as a blocker.
It's a UX irritant, as simple as that. It's a UX
Yep.
irritant, particularly platforms like Netflix and all. You see, they don't even want you to go through that initial wo jo casting video and all. They want to save your even 30-15 seconds. If they start asking you questions and all,
Hmm.
whatever good you want to do, it will turn out to be very bad.
Exactly. So you have to be like very very careful in the way you're fetching the input from the users as little as possible. Same time it should solve the problem as well, and maybe that is why Netflix has only thumbs up and thumbs down, right, after you complete watching a movie.
Correct.
So okay, we'll stop here. It's a good way of analyzing. So during the interview you have to look at it from both the angles and explain it to the interviewer. Right. So that is what we have done. The next one is we have almost finalized. We have almost done. Yes, we have come up with a solution, fine, but you have to define success metric. Let's say I choose right based on the user behavior, we can use AI models. How would you define the success metric for this feature with respect to the personalization? What type of success metrics we can say? Customer engagement is a very generic term. You gotta be like very very specific. Increase in watch time, okay, for that user. Yeah, very very good point actually. Increase in watch time, monthly active use. Yes, of course. That is why we are implementing all these things. But it will take time for it to get reflected. Right. That is the ultimate metric that we want to do. But what is the success metric for this feature? Session time, retention rate. How do you define it here, Deepmala? You gotta be like very specific.
And also, one small quick tip, uh, like my wife was in Saudi, and there was a very good definition those guys have set. Every matrix has to be a ratio. You have to
Hmm.
look from a point of view that it's a ratio.
Exactly.
So
This is
MAU
like
and all are very good output metrics, but if at all you are looking, if you are implementing a feature, you have to talk about the input metric. And while doing an input metric, you have to talk in the sense of a ratio. That will really help you to understand your whether your product is doing good or not.
exactly
For
all.
example, if I give a small example, if you have a recommendation personalization engine, you have a dedicated section where you are showing the recommended movies or something like that. The number of users clicking on a movie which is in the recommended section
Hmm.
divided by the movies in
Hmm.
the recommended section. For example,
Exactly.
if there are 10 movies that were recommended, then how many users actually went on to click on those 10 movies? That talks about the success of getting a section done. Or
Exactly.
in Netflix India, the top sections you see that was never earlier present. The top movies in India or something that is like present from 2 months or now. They would be definitely analyzing the matrix. What is that section performing? If it doesn't do good, they'll
Hmm.
definitely remove it. You'll see that. Okay.
Adding on to it, when we say ratio, right, you can take any metric and you compare it with respect to the previous, before you implement it and after you implement, for
Correct.
example session time, right? Session time for that particular user cohort, okay, before and after, what is the percentage increase? That's a ratio, right? So always, if you have a, if you look at any metric in a relative manner, you will ultimately end up with that ratio only, right? So always keep that in mind as well. A very good input, Saurabh. I think we are getting good inputs from user, from participants as well. They are like bang on. Okay, Deepmal has written,
Yes.
by tracking what kind of users are majorly there, by measuring retention rate, and then can target certain kinds of users. Okay, again you are going back to the first step, I feel, right? We have already finalized what type of users we want, right? Basically movie, that is a user persona that we want to do, and then we are here actually. So I'll move on to the next question. Preetham, completion rate to be increased only on the recommended videos. What exactly do you mean, Preetham?
To check out whether the
Okay.
recommendations are correct.
Well, there was a feature recommendation, Ravi, correct, on completion rate by one of the participants. So
Okay.
he's saying that as a matrix, we should track the completion rate of the recommendation engine which we have built, or the
Okay.
completion rate of the movies which are
Okay.
there in the recommendation
Got it.
engine
Got
at
it.
a
Of
particular
course. So
Whether
we are
it is correct.
exactly, we are already measuring the session time as well, right? In a way related to that, of course, I agree. Completion rate for
completion rate of the movies in the recommended section or divided by completion rate of the movies in the non-recommended section at a user level. That should ideally
okay.
go up, and every metric should have a trend, as you all are aspiring APMs. Every metric should have a trend, whether it's an increasing trend or a decreasing trend.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. So I think you guys understood where, how to define the success metric, right? So basically, these are, what is it? Active metrics, I would say. The ultimate metrics that we want to improve is MAU, right? Per subscribe. But that will take a lot of time to get there. So the hypothesis here, right? If we track these metrics and if we implement, if we implement this feature, and if these metrics improve, ultimately my MAU should improve. That is again
Improve. Correct.
hypothesis. We have to wait and watch. We would have like completely missed out. Okay, maybe personalization is never a problem, something else is the problem, right? Because these metrics are improving but MA is not, but that is highly not the case. Usually there is a correlation, but this is how you define the success metric. Okay, I don't want to go into the next part because we are due to lack of time. So the last part is you summarize, okay, whatever you have written. First is we identify the problem, we defined, we deconstructed the problem clearly. That is very, very crucial. Identify the user persona, pain points, prioritized it, brainstorm we did. You brainstorm on the solution, matlab you do it with the interviewer. Okay, you don't do it within you. You say, you suggest it to interviewer, and then you can come to a conclusion, right? You evaluate the solution and then define the success metrics, and last summarize it very clearly. It's very important because you would have talked about many things here, right? And interviewer would be looking at it like, are you saying on the flow or are you like noting it down properly? He will be checking
Correct.
that at the end. Very, it's a simple step but it's very crucial. All right, these are the flow, guys. Last, like, we'll take a Q&A. I think the session is done. Any other Q&A you guys have before we wrap it up?
Any questions, guys? Any reviews or any
Yeah,
feedbacks?
if you guys have feedback, please share it with us. How was the session, first of all? And have you guys seen these kinds of sessions anywhere else? I don't think I've seen these kinds of live case study
Yes.
sessions solving it.
So this is really good experience. As good as
Mm,
giving everyone an interview hour is very difficult. So
mm,
it's like 10, 15 people come together, solve an interview question. And
mm,
next time, like we can think of in the lines, Ravi, you can take, like, you can ask even these guys a question and take it
mm.
up in your session 3 with some other guest or something like that.
Definitely,
Real life.
definitely, definitely.
ठीक.
Guys, feedback. Just before this, I participated, but that was a miss. Okay. Then how you go? Okay, question from Anuj is, we have a lot of people to discuss about the pain point or user person, but during an interview, how you go alone with the question? Saurabh, you wanna you wanna
Yeah.
take that up?
No, that is what it is. That's life. You'll always have to go to the battle alone.
Hmm.
And but in your mock sessions, you'll always have someone helping you out. You will have to practice. You have to
Hmm.
attend such sessions again and again. Practice mocks and all. You'll get that sense that
Hmm.
how are the platforms behaving. Start practicing with multiple B2C platforms, B2B platforms. What are the type? What are the tendency of questions and all. And you will start getting that nudge. हाँ इस पे ये हो सकता है, इस पे वो हो सकता है. That's it. And also I'll say follow circles. If you have clarification questions, in a way the panelists will judge you, will nudge you over there itself that what are the problems. You'll have to just read between the lines.
Yep, yep. Thanks a lot, guys, for a good feedback. See, one thing that I would expect you guys to do, right? Um, like not just me, there are many people who contribute to PCG. If you go to mentorship page, there are many people who do things for free, right? And all the sessions that we conduct are free, and I want to keep this free as much as possible, right? And that would, so one thing that we require is motivation. We continuously do it, so motivation could be you guys giving us a shout out on LinkedIn, right? And again, I've just posted a LinkedIn post about this. If you guys go and post and comment about this, right, many people will get to know as well, right? This will benefit more people, and at the same time this will motivate us as well, right? And PCG as a brand can grow, right? So thanks a lot for the feedback, guys. Please go to the post, click on it, comment on it, so that more people get benefited, right? And thanks a lot, Saurav, for taking your time out on a Saturday night, and thanks a lot to everyone actually. Right, Saturday night joining these many people, it's a big deal because you are giving up
Yes.
your weekend for this. That shows that you guys are passionate about product management.
Sure.
Thanks a lot, guys. Thanks a lot, Saurav. Hope to have
Yes.
you, again on a different
Sure.
session in future.
Sure. Sure. I'd
Okay.
love to be again. Yeah.
Thank
Lovely
you.
time with you guys. Thanks,
Thank
man.
you, guys.
Bye.
Thank you. Thank you. Bye bye. Bye bye.
Bye.